Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is the best show of the week by far. This is what you have all been waiting for and dying to lay eyes on. This is ECW coming to you from, if memory serves me correct, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Because why not go to a place that obviously, like across the entire world, is dying for a pinch of ECW's greatness, and tonight they will receive that very greatness because we have two big matches for you here tonight. As if, not as if our entire show is always big. ECW Tag Team titles up for grabs. D.I.Y will challenge the Dirty Heels, with them being the #1 contenders, but with the Authors of Pain breathing down the back of the Tag Team division, it is time to determine if D.I.Y are ready to take those Tag Team titles away from the Dirty Heels. And then, as revenge for last week, as revenge for his cowardice acts, Chris Jericho will go one-on-one with the ECW champion and an extremely pissed off Seth Rollins, who is now aware that at Heatwave he will have to face the scumbag that is Diamond Dallas Page. So that being said, Jericho, you have dug your own grave, and Seth Rollins will proceed to bury you 6 foot deep in dirt until you realize the mistake you have made. So that being said, let's kick things off in the Cruiserweight division with an interesting matchup within that division. That is right, we're going to be kicking things off with two conflicting styles, really, of action within the Cruiserweight division. We're going to have Hideo Itami, the very technical, mat-based and kick-based offense that he represents, against the high-flying aerial base attack that Neville will represent, who is of course Hideo Itami's opponent in this matchup. But yes, Itami heading towards the ring here. Both these men really haven't got any ground over the last few weeks. I mean, Itami came over in the superstar in the draft that we had post WrestleMania, and I think the only time we saw him was when he was defeated by the glorious one, Bobby Roode, who, don't worry, we will be seeing in action later on tonight. But with that being said, Itami comes to the ring right now looking for a win. Of course, as I stated last week when Suicide defended his championship against Dean Malenko, the whole voting thing for the Cruiserweight Championship is going to take a little bit of a back seat for now as we focus on actually developing the Cruiserweight division a little bit more. Because, of course, credit where credit's due to the other brands. Their women's division, as you've seen, they're picking up so much to an extent now where both brands have their separate women's championships. So it's obviously become quite a big deal on those rosters, and we have to try and do the same with our Cruiserweight division. But nevertheless, here is Itami in the ring, waiting for the arrival of the former Cruiserweight champion Neville. Neville's done quite a lot in this universe, to be fair. He is just one world title away from becoming a Grand Slam champion. You wouldn't be aware of it considering Neville's shaky path right now on ECW, but it seems as if Neville may be on a quest to try and get that Cruiserweight Championship back around his waist for a second time. Two-time television champion, one-time ECW Tag Team Champion, and now, of course, destined to try and make it perhaps a two-time Cruiserweight Championship reign. Neville, certainly with a little bit of a smirk on his face as he realizes the chance here to sort out this recent poor form that he's been in, and the chance to really get his name back out there and prove that Neville is not someone you can overlook. Then again, of course, they have to remember who the Cruiserweight champion is right now on this in this division. Suicide, who has certainly just been dominant, really, ever since he won the Cruiserweight Classic, took that championship away from Akira Tozawa at at One Night Stand, and of course defended it last week against Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holes. But here we go. As this matchup gets underway, let's quickly talk you through what we're going to be seeing tonight following this. I said he was in action, and he will be in action next. It's the glorious one, Bobby Roode, going one-on-one with the ECW television champion, Dean Ambrose. Last week, the man who Bobby Roode is getting a little bit frisky with, or a little bit in the waters with, in Baron Corbin, was supposed to take on Dean Ambrose, but Bobby Roode did not allow that to happen. So here tonight, Dean Ambrose and Bobby Roode will square off, and we'll see if it's going to be the same outcome, or whether or not Baron Corbin's going to play a little bit of a waiting game. There'll be maybe a little bit of a patience game before he decides to strike on the glorious one. Then we have the ECW Tag Team Championship up for grabs, as previously stated. You know what that is, D.I.Y and the Dirty Heels. Then we're going to have a hard-hitting matchup between Pentagon Jr. and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, who will, and it has been confirmed, who will meet Aleister Black at ECW Heatwave in, I believe, to be 5 weeks? No, 3 weeks from now? It can't be 3 weeks from now already. Jesus Christ, it is. Alright, so there you go. But that will be happening for sure. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. I got to be honest right there. So that's going to be a good one. But of course, Pentagon Jr. and Samoa Joe tonight as well. Also going to be a very strong hitting matchup. Pentagon Jr. is still trying to find his footing here on ECW. And Samoa Joe looking to try and get some momentum heading into that tough match he's going to be facing off. He's going to be facing at Heatwave. And then of course our main event, as stated, Jericho and Rollins. Jericho was stupid enough to hand off his number 1 contendership opportunity to Diamond Dallas Page, who unfortunately won that fatal 4-way last week to enable him to become number 1 contender. So that being said, of course, I can't go against the rules. The match was in place. Jericho did hand away his number 1 contendership opportunity to Page. And with that being said, Seth Rollins and Diamond Dallas Page will fight at Heatwave for what I hope to be the last time we see Diamond Dallas Page on this brand. And the referee, what was the... Alright, the referee completely blind there to what was going on. Neville's hand was on the bottom rope, the referee totally unaware of it, and well, Hideo Itami has picked up the win because of it. That is not a victory that Itami could celebrate. I think even Itami realized that the hand was on the ropes, but he did nothing to break the fall. Neville's almost, no luck for Neville really on this brand right now, and it shows right there. It's continuing on. Itami picks up the win, but under no means did he deserve that victory. Neville and himself were still locked in that matchup, and the referee's inability to see that hand on the bottom rope cost him. I thought he had clear eyes on it, but apparently not. Terrible officiating there, and trust me, I will look to give Neville another opportunity to get himself back out there, to get his name back out there. That is, that I do not accept. And I've just realized it's 4 weeks until Heatwave, not 3 weeks, but nevertheless, glossing over that. Neville will definitely get another chance to prove himself. That is terrible officiating. I will not stand for that, and I apologize deeply to Neville for what just occurred, but we're going to move on quickly to our next contest. The glorious one, Bobby Roode, against the ECW Television Champion, Dean Ambrose. Alright, here he is, Dean Ambrose, making his way towards the ring. This Wisconsin crowd certainly happy to see the Lunatic Fringe in action for the first time since One Night Stand. Of course, as I stated before, he was meant to take on Baron Corbin last week, but the glorious one got involved. Certainly seems as if Roode and Corbin have an issue with one another, but it seems as if also both these men might be on a quest to try and become ECW Television Champion, and Dean Ambrose kind of stuck in the middle of their ongoing spat. But nevertheless, here tonight, Ambrose will face Bobby Roode, and with Roode coming out second, you never know, it could result in a problem. We could see Baron Corbin perhaps try and get the jump on him. You never know what could take place, but right here, right now, certainly Dean Ambrose ready to get to just fight, really. That's all he's ready for. He's ready to just go to a battle with Bobby Roode. Look at him right there, the glorious one. As I say, a week in and week out, you can love this guy, you can hate this guy, but you cannot stop yourself from singing along to the glorious one's theme. You cannot stop yourself from chanting, from singing along with the lyrics, no matter what your opinion is on Bobby Roode. Certainly been making an impact since arriving on this brand. I mean, we saw Roode in one of his first matches on this brand at One Night Stand. He challenged anyone in the back to an open match. And out came, of all people, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And while it seemed incredibly odd that Shawn Michaels would step up to the plate, and while it seemed like Michaels was going to walk all over Roode, it was not the case. Bobby Roode ended up being victorious over the Heartbreak Kid, and since then, of course, we haven't seen Michaels, but then again, with the amount of talent we got in that superstar draft, it is difficult sometimes to get people on this brand. I mean, AJ Styles just main evented the One Night Stand pay-per-view, and we haven't seen him since, primarily because we have so many talents, we have so many opportunities to hand out. That's what makes us the best brand in this universe. That's what makes myself the greatest general manager within this universe as well. Of course, we have so many of opportunities to hand out that we can't just keep on giving them to the names that have already had their opportunities, already had their title reigns. That is why in that fatal 4-way matchup you saw last week, I believe nearly every single member of the match hadn't won a world title at that point. Bray Wyatt hasn't. Tony Nese has not been in this universe that long. Who was the other one? Trying to remember the other one for a second. Oh wow, I'm really blanking. Oh, Bobby Roode. Okay, Bobby Roode. This man right here, how can I forget? Roode, okay, I'll give him credit. He's a former WWE and Intercontinental Champion. Alright, that was the biggest name within the matchup. And then Chris Jericho. The only thing he's had is 2 tag team title reigns, but of course that was replaced by the scumbag, the false hero, the liar. Basically the politician that is Diamond Dallas Page. Anyway, we move away from that right now and we focus on this matchup. Bobby Roode certainly left his mark before that number one contendership match as well when he attacked Baron Corbin. May not have hit the glorious bomb, but he certainly did a number on Corbin's ribs following that splash off the top rope. You saw Corbin unable to get back up to his feet, and Roode was certainly happy with the job he had done. Dean Ambrose now leaping up to the top rope as quickly as possible, but misses that elbow drop, and now maybe the glorious one can get himself going in this matchup. Chop right in the chest of Dean Ambrose. Look at this, 2 former world champions squaring off here in what is a pretty interesting matchup. What happened with Ambrose there? He's done it twice now. I think the glorious one's just too much for him. He can't even make contact with how incredible Bobby Roode is. Look at, oh my good God, look at the strength there of Roode. Able to get himself around, able to utilize some speed there beforehand, and then a glorious Tiger Bomb onto Ambrose. Counters Dean Ambrose. The spear by Bobby Roode, and a beautiful spear, a glorious spear if you will, but it isn't enough to even scramble a 2 count. Still a lot of work left to do on Dean Ambrose. Ambrose now up against the ropes. Bobby Roode staying on the case right now, staying in control over the television champion. And digging it, he's got magma. Nice magma claw. Trying to trap a nerve maybe within the shoulder of Dean Ambrose, trying to make sure that doesn't work. Trying to make sure that he's basically restricted to one arm, and that is going to significantly try and take away the dirty deeds and a whole lot of Ambrose's offense, but it certainly hasn't done the trick. Because there was a forearm and bulldog shot, and Dean Ambrose now almost doing a little bit of mocking of a Bobby Roode there. And Roode didn't take too kindly to that one, but Ambrose is able to counter back just as fast. Back and forth reversals there. Ambrose flattened as Roode had a good hook on that arm. Nice reversal though by Ambrose in retaliation. Good God, these two men are going back and forth now, reversals both showing their true credentials, and there is a stun gun. Bobby Roode now looking to slow down the pace maybe after that stun gun, get this match going. Now he wants to go. What a T-bone suplex there. Bobby Roode utilizing his strength to his full advantage, but didn't hook the legs there in that pin. That was a bit of a mistake there by Bobby Roode. And it seems as if he's going to go back to the shoulder there, back to locking in that Magma Claw. That iron grip, whatever you want to call it. Magma Claw just sounds fun. Roode trying to really do a number there on Ambrose's arm. Ambrose there using his leg in, I don't know what the word I was looking for there. In response, that's the word I'm looking for. But Ambrose right now is propped in and ready to strike. Might be in trouble here. Bobby Roode. Whoa, good job there by Roode. I don't know how he was able to flip out of it, but he does a glorious job to get out of it. Roode now, the spine buster. Could be seen as a dig at Arn Anderson. Does it really matter? Not right now, because Bobby Roode may be closing in on an incredible victory. Roode hooks him in. The glorious bomb. The cover on Ambrose for 2, and it's not a win yet. Roode wanted that to be a win. He was just unable to get it, but look at how Roode stays in the zone. Stays in his mindset, doesn't make a mistake, and hits another one. A second glorious bomb for 1, 2, and still Dean Ambrose kicks out at 2. The heart in the ECW television champion there being demonstrated on one of the highest extents possible. And now Ambrose there pushing his way out of that neck breaker. But Roode attempts to roll up Ambrose there, but only rolls him up as far as the ropes. Got him there. And now Roode with another roll up. This time it's smart. This time Ambrose is nowhere near the ropes. And Roode nicks one. Roode steals the victory. The roll up does the trick, and Bobby Roode just pinned the ECW television champion. Whichever way you look at it, it goes down in the record books as a win for Bobby Roode. That pushes Roode right up to the number 1 contender spot. But here comes Corbin now. Corbin in the ring, unbeknownst to the glorious one, unbeknownst to Bobby Roode. Corbin gets the jump on him as revenge for last week. Roode may have got the win, but Corbin wants the last laugh. Deep 6 there. And now Corbin lies in wait. Ambrose watching on temporarily. Corbin, end of days. End of days, and Roode is out. Roode laid out there by Baron Corbin, who gets his own back for the attack last week. This is just true back and forth between both men, attacking one another time after time. Never seems to come to an end between these two, but right now you have to realize Roode is the number 1 contender really following that win. He is in that number 1 contender spot, and Corbin could maybe get himself in a position to challenge for that television championship, so long as he eventually gets a matchup against Roode. We could be looking at a triple threat match down the line, or maybe not. Maybe it was just a lucky win for Roode. Maybe Corbin can beat him. Maybe we'll just gloss it all over and have someone else challenging Roode at Heatwave. I don't know. There's a whole lot of opportunities to give out, but it certainly seems as if Roode and Corbin are locked with one another and want to square off and want to do battle. Title or no title, it doesn't seem to make a difference. But speaking of titles, we're going to move on to our next matchup. ECW Tag Team titles up for grabs. D.I.Y. versus the Dirty Heels. Fact, ladies and gentlemen, just before we move on to this title matchup, I would like to announce right here, right now, that next week you will watch, you will witness Baron Corbin take on Bobby Roode. I will announce that right now, and should Baron Corbin get the win in that one, should Corbin defeat Roode, then I will announce it will be a triple threat match for the ECW Television Championship at Heatwave. Should Baron Corbin get the win. If he does not, then it will be Bobby Roode versus Dean Ambrose for the ECW Television Championship at Heatwave. I am well aware that those two men want to go to battle, but Roode's win, too significant to gloss over, and that means we've got to pay key attention to it, really. And now, whether they wanted it or not, that feud is going to become about the ECW Television Championship. But we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on from that right now and focus on a different championship, the ECW Tag Team Championship, as the Dirty Heels look set to try and defend their championships here tonight against D.I.Y. Of course, the last time we saw this team, they were at a one-night stand getting absolutely decimated by the Authors of Pain, a team that has declared themselves on numerous occasions now really to be number 1 contenders. They kind of proved it in a strong fashion last week against the Usos. They defeated them with relative ease and have 100% stated that those tag team titles are their next stop. But as of right now, D.I.Y. the number 1 contenders following their victory over the Dirty Heels a few weeks back before a one-night stand, and it would seem unfair to not give them that chance at the titles before the Authors of Pain will probably be getting their opportunity, be probably getting their shot, getting their rematch as well, of course, because if it were not for the Usos a one-night stand, then we wouldn't have seen, we may not have seen, well, the Authors of Pain would not be looking for a rematch. They were all over the Dirty Heels, and they were just moments away from winning those tag team titles. So that being said, here comes the greatest man that ever lived. Here comes the Grand Slam champion. Finally, here comes the man who I believe has held the most championships within this universe. Give it up for the incredible Austin Aries, who heads towards the ring right now, looking incredible, looking amazing with that coat around him. I got to give credit where credit's due there. Austin Aries, when greatness sees greatness, they complement one another. And that right there is greatness. That right there perhaps is the greatest man that ever lived. But nevertheless, Austin Aries here tonight in a bit of a rocky road, bit of a rocky situation, as he looks to try and hold on to those ECW Tag Team titles, as himself and Axel look to keep hold of those titles they fought so long to get their hands on. Will they be able to hang on to them? I'm not too sure. D.I.Y defeated them last time round. They've still shown that momentum. They're still showing that fire within them. Aries and Axel are going to have to put on one hell of a performance here if they want to retain. But I think the same can be said for D.I.Y, because for some reason in big match situations, Austin Aries is always able to pull it out of the bag. We've seen it in the past on numerous occasions. That is the reason why Aries is a 3-time world champion, 2-time WWE champion, or 2-time world champion, and 1-time ECW champion. And a former WWE champion, am I right? No. I'm getting myself a little bit confused right now. I would actually have to think that one through, but I'm pretty sure, no. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Austin Aries is a 4-time world champion in that retrospect. Then 1-time ECW champion, 2-time world champion, 1-time WWE champion. Of course, how can I forget? He's the only man within this universe to hold every single world championship. But you can see that is not what Aries is thinking about right now. He is thinking about this matchup. He is thinking about defending those tag team titles. He is just giving a glare over at D.I.Y before this matchup gets underway. The referee taking the tag team titles away from the Dirty Heels now. That is what we are fighting for here on ECW, a free title matchup for you. That doesn't illustrate how tremendous of a brand we are, then I don't know what does. I mean, perhaps looking at our ECW Championship, our ECW Champion will answer that question for you. But here we go, it's going to be Gargano starting things off against Axel. Let's see what we will lay eyes on in this matchup. Gargano off to a nice start there with that spin kick in the face, and we're going to go to work a little bit on Curtis Axel. Axel, you know, primarily seen as the weaker of the two men of the Dirty Heels, but he does not stop himself from putting it all out there when it comes to the matchup. I mean, Axel is a 3-time ECW Tag Team Champion. That is important to remember. So he does whatever it takes to get his hands on those titles. But Gargano right now is getting off to a much better start than Axel is. Axel, though, with a nice kick in the gut there to reverse it, but still unable to catch Gargano, unable to really get anything against Gargano going. Might be a nice suplex back in the ring here. Look at that there by Gargano. Perfectly vertical. As Axel comes back into the ring. And now here comes the runner-up of the 2017 King of the Ring tournament. The psychopath that is Tommaso Ciampa. Nice crucifix there. Tommaso Ciampa now, of course, wanted to be going by the nickname of the Psycho Killer that he is. Certainly possessed it when he had to defeat his own tag team partner there, Johnny Gargano, at King of the Ring, and he did it in an almost merciless fashion. Tag made, though. Back in comes Gargano. Ciampa keeping it short and sweet right now in the ring. Perhaps looking to make sure that D.I.Y does not burn one man out. You know, they get the tags going, they keep it. They keep themselves working at an equal rate, and Ciampa, they're almost saving a collision into the turnbuckle for Gargano, but he fell right into that back suplex powerbomb, I believe it would be, and here comes Aries now. Tag made into Austin Aries, and Gargano exploding out of the blocks there, and a hesitation dropkick in the turnbuckle right after. Good God. Right out of the bat there, Aries in a bit of trouble, and that was smart there by Ciampa, but didn't want to see his friend take that impact, and decided to make the tag in quickly. Great work by Ciampa, real strong ring awareness, and now a sunset flip powerbomb. Cover here, the referee, don't know what he's arguing about there, but he should be counting the pin, and it was only a 1 count for his troubles. Ciampa now, here we go, unloading with his vicious strikes that have helped bring him a former Cruiserweight Championship reign within this universe. In fact, it was Austin Aries who he dethroned to win that Cruiserweight Championship, if memory serves me correct. Up high now goes Ciampa. What a drop kick in the chest. Cover now on the greatest man that ever lived. Will it be enough for those tag team titles? Far from it. Aries kicking out at 1. Forearm shot here, and Ciampa now looking to get a little bit more explosive with his offense. Pele kick following that fireman's carry. And Aries' leg, they caught up in the ropes. That could have been devastating for him, but he's still kicking out at 1 right now. Problem for him, though, is it is all about D.I.Y in this current moment in time. It is all about the job that Ciampa is doing against the 4-time world champion. Nice STO there. What will Aries look for now? Aries going to take flight here. Moonsault. Incredible job by Aries there. His back turned to Ciampa for some time, but almost knew Ciampa was still going to be there and was able to hit that. Elbows, though, may have stunned Ciampa slightly. Back suplex. Great counter there by Ciampa, landing firmly on his feet. And is now looking to plant a powerbomb down to Aries. Nails it. Cover right after. Will it be the tag team titles? It will. Oh, it will not. It was close, though. Ciampa still keeping his own year against Aries, who is in tremendous trouble right now. Suplex. No, it's a brainbuster to Aries. One of the men more prominently, who prominently rely upon that brainbuster. But Gargano tagged back in now against Aries. Aries desperately needs to get something going here, and what is Axel doing? He's just kind of yelling at Gargano right now. Not too sure why, but apparently the referee let that one slide. Suplex there to Gargano anyway. Aries now, though, looking in significant trouble, using the ropes to his advantage to hit that Falcon Arrow. Good awareness there by Gargano, able to utilize everything. Alright, Gargano's just kind of ditched. Okay, alright, good. Now Gargano is not moving. Okay. We've brought technical difficulties onto this show in the shape of an actual human being. Well done. Tremendous work by all there. Gargano counters. I don't know if he was just playing possum or something there, but that was stupid. Aries, anyway, may desperately need to make a tag in this matchup right now. Hate to say it, but he has been outmatched by D.I.Y. What a DDT, though, by Aries. Good God. But Gargano able to respond right away. Hurricanrana there as D.I.Y. have that desire to win those tag team titles. They need those tag team titles. And Axel tags himself in here. Finally a tag made. I'm not too sure if Gargano deliberately did that or not. But either way, he is now Axel now the legal man in this one. And immediately looking to nail a big time move onto Gargano. Up high superplex, but Gargano just too fresh still and is able to hang on. Stays up top as well. Gargano, big splash, cover right after it for the tag team titles. Is it enough? There's 2, and no. Axel able to kick out at 2, and look at the damage D.I.Y. have done to Aries on the outside. He is hanging on to those ropes basically for dear life. Axel now continuing on here, trying to get something going into the turnbuckle. He goes, and German suplex there for Gargano. Nasty landing. And Axel hoping it's enough. Took a bit too long, though, heading into that cover, maybe. And there is demonstrated. Only a 1 count. Gargano may want to make the tag into Ciampa now. He's been going through a lot in this matchup. It seems as if they are listening to my words. Tag made here. In comes Ciampa. D.I.Y. with these great tags, able to help themselves out on so many occasions now. That's why neither of them have been gripping onto the ropes like Austin Aries is right now. Gargano getting a little bit too involved maybe for his own good. Axel there with a good counter. May have opened the door there for some success. Wheelbarrow German suplex by Curtis Axel. What a maneuver. What an incredible move that is as Ciampa once more takes a little roll to the outside of the ring, walks right into that forearm though, and Axel all of a sudden is winning the match back for the Dirty Heels. There's the neck crank there. Will Axel be able to hit that turning heads on a Ciampa? Will we be laying eyes on the Dirty Heels, still tag team champions? Turning heads to Ciampa. Axel able to pull it out of the bag. Will he have retained the tag team titles? Yes, he has. Unbelievable. You know, just a blink of an eye, the matchup turns into the favor of the Dirty Heels. And while the majority of the attention still will go to Austin Aries, you cannot deny the incredible job there by Axel to save the tag team titles for his team. The Dirty Heels retain their tag team titles, but there's got to be frustration within D.I.Y. Waited for that opportunity that they deserved, and just one little mistake. And you wouldn't have expected that 3 count to go through, really. You would have thought Sharp better kick out, considering they seemed so energetic still. They still seem to have a lot of passion and heart within them. But it's Axel who gets the pin. It was Aries who at the last second was able to save his partner by making sure Gargano couldn't break up the pinfall. And maybe D.I.Y. will have to wait some time before they get another opportunity at the tag team titles. But what this does mean for these two men is that down the line they will meet the Authors of Pain once more. Might be a bad time for them. But anyway, we're going to move on to our next matchup. Hard-hitting matchup, as I previously mentioned. It is Pentagon Jr. against Samoa Joe. Alright, here we go. Hard-hitting matchup on the way, as I previously stated. This is going to be one of those matches that you just think, oh, I'd love to see this match take place because I know it'd be a hard-hitting affair, or I want to see that more ball to the wall kind of extremity. And here comes Joe already, refusing to let Pentagon Jr. make his way to the ring. This is the frustration that is eaten away at Samoa Joe ever since he lost that matchup to Braun Strowman at One Night Stand. Ever since Aleister Black cost him that win. And now, Joe taking it out on Pentagon Jr. He may not have any relation to the Wyatt family, but it is still a man that Joe has to face. It is still a man who Joe can take his frustrations out on. But Pentagon Jr. is an incredibly dangerous competitor. Look at this now by Joe, though. He doesn't care. Dumping Pentagon Jr. there onto the steel ramp. And now Joe taking him towards the ring. Joe is ready to let this matchup get underway, but you can certainly tell the frustrations that he has heading into Heatwave. You can certainly tell that he is eating, that he is counting down the days until he gets his hands on Aleister Black, until he can finally try and extract a measure of revenge for what took place at One Night Stand. This crowd here completely behind Samoa Joe, completely backing the Samoan submission machine. Joe, who of course, as I said, a One Night Stand, came so close to defeating Braun Strowman, but if it was not for the intervention of Aleister Black, the entire Wyatt family not here tonight for a change. That is actually quite nice to lay eyes on, but never be too certain about it, because you never know where they can come from. What a counter there by Joe, who's going to go up high here. Can he do it quick enough? Can he nail something off that top rope? Yes, he can. What a leg drop there by Samoa Joe. Incredible. But that is the agility that the near 300-pounder can possess. But there's another sling blade by Pentagon Jr. Jr. not going to get really anything out of this matchup. Seems as if nearly every title matchup has been sealed in for the pay-per-view. But what he does get is exposure. What he can get is a future opportunity. What he could get is a matchup on the card that may not have any title on the line, but will continue to perhaps build his name. However, Samoa Joe does not care about Pentagon Jr. right now. He just sees it as a target in the way. He just almost sees it as an obstruction ahead of Aleister Black, as he sees these next 3.5 weeks as a distraction, as just being in the way of his main target. And Joe right now, looked like he was running in there for that corner, that corner elbow drop in Zaguri combo, but he missed it. And Pentagon Jr. now slowing down the pace to how he likes it to happen, how he likes to go to work there on the joints, on the key limbs. Pentagon Jr. now stomping in the arm of Samoa Joe, and he's going to do it again here. Pentagon Jr. loves to go to work like that. He just loves breaking apart a human body piece by piece. He's like Randy Orton, but to an even higher extremity. Samoa Joe now up high. Missed a knee drop there. That would have been certainly devastating. Oh, but into the back now goes Pentagon Jr. and follows it up with a reverse DDT. That is an incredibly painful maneuver there. The back of Joe almost be screaming out in agony. But look at how Joe continues to fight here. Sweeps the leg as well away from Pentagon Jr. Can he get those elbows in? No, he can't. Great work there by Pentagon Jr. to be able to get out of the huge grip the Samoa Joe would possess within those legs of his. Joe now turns around. But Pentagon Jr. quick to counter. And Pentagon Jr. now. Uh-oh, backbreaker again to Samoa Joe. But look at how quickly Joe is able to counter. Look at how quickly he's able to get back up to his feet. Not really getting too rocked right now by these moves from Pentagon Jr. Certainly feeling them, but he's not staying down under any accord. Every shot here Samoa Joe takes to Pentagon Jr. is a warning to Aleister Black. And this time, Joe nails it in the corner. And a cover right after on Pentagon Jr. There's the cover, but wow. It's a very early 1 count, and Joe seems a little bit taken aback by it. I don't think Joe expected that to happen in any way, shape, or form. Jawbreaker there, though. But it's a jawbreaking reversal. They're both men able to execute reversals against the other. Samoa Joe now sending Pentagon Jr. into the turnbuckle. It's quick, it's very quick, and it's very early on. Samoa Joe looks to pounce. Muscle buster to Pentagon Jr. Could that be the outcome at Heatwave? Could that be what will happen to Aleister Black when they eventually meet? Maybe so. Will this be enough, though, to get the win against Pentagon Jr. here tonight? There's 1. There's 2. And no. Pentagon Jr. is able to kick out at 2. Joe, though, staying calm. And you've got to give credit to Joe for that. For everything that's happened to him over these last few weeks. He stays calm. He doesn't lash out. In fact, the only time we've seen Joe lash out since the events that occurred was last week when he pounced on an opportunity to get his hands on Aleister Black. Aleister Black, however, thanks to Bray Wyatt, I would assume, was able to get out of dodge, was able to escape the clutches of Samoa Joe and get to safety. But that will not be the case at Heatwave for certain when those two men do meet. Pentagon Jr. now looking for something devastating here, has him up, and the back to the into the back again of Joe he goes. Those double knees to the back. Cover on Joe here, but look at how quickly Joe powers out. An early 1 count, basically. Much to the frustration of Pentagon Jr., but look at how Pentagon is able to just stay calm, not make a huge mistake, not make a stupid error. But he's able to keep reversing as well. This is very entertaining. Oh, that was awkward. Very entertaining to witness, and he goes back to the arm again of Joe. But Joe just does not give a damn about that. Quickly reverses, and now Joe into his tripleplex. There's the German. There's the Dragon. And now the straight jacket to finish it off. High angle with a bridge after it. Pentagon Jr. may be in deep trouble, but he's able to kick out at 2. Joe, though, staying on offense here. And Samoa Joe, Kakina clutch. Kakina clutch stitched in on Pentagon Jr. Could he make Pentagon Jr. submit? It would be huge if he could. It would be monumental for Jr. to tap out. Joe still got it locked in. Pentagon Jr. probably choking, and he taps. Good God, Samoa Joe just forced Pentagon Jr. to submit. That is incredible by all accounts to witness. It is not every day that you see Pentagon Jr. submit. Samoa Joe with the victory there, and is now determined to just count down the days. He is just anxiously awaiting Heatwave. You could see it in the way he just wanted to get this match out of the way. That opponent that he faced off against was not Aleister Black, so it was not to the interest of Samoa Joe. Well, with that being said, another win for Joe. And he can take that one home with a little bit of pride, but he is just waiting for Heatwave to arrive. I cannot iterate it enough. Do not miss out on Heatwave when Aleister Black and Samoa Joe will square off in what is bound to be one of the matches of the night. So that being said, we're going to move on to our main event now. Chris Jericho, the man who was stupid enough to give away his opportunity to the selfish Diamond Dallas Page, will now meet the Architect, the ECW champion, the greatest competitor alive today, Seth Rollins. Oh no. What the hell are you doing here? I specifically said do not show up tonight. I specifically made sure that security were not to let you into the arena. And here you are once more. Diamond Dallas Page with a microphone in hand. If anyone wants to turn off that microphone as quickly as he grabbed it, that would be spectacular. If you just want to turn that off. No, you're going to listen to this man. This is the world that we live in right now, where I have to listen. I have to sit here in charge of my own brand and listen to a man who wants to destroy ECW talk about how great this brand is. Oh really? Oh really, Paige? You wanna run your mouth like that? You wanna say that before Heatwave you think Seth Rollins is too scared to go face to face with you? Are you aware of who this man is? Let me just remind you who this man is, Paige. He beat you for the ECW Championship at WrestleMania. He sent you into reclusion. He made you insignificant. And it is as I thought. Do not dare talk ill of the ECW Champion. Do not dare talk ill of this man. Seth Rollins heads towards the ring with a microphone of his own in hand as he gets ready. He's even on the way to the ring. He's able to show respect to the crowd that should be loving him. That man right there wearing that Seth Rollins shirt. Great shirt, by the way. He should certainly... Alright, well, never mind glossing over that. Exactly, Paige. He is standing right in front of you, right here, right now. As much as it may have shocked you, he is here. Seth Rollins will not back down from any challenge. Let's see what your stupid mouth has to say, Mr. Page. Oh, really? Oh, that's real witty of you, Page. So the man who has exposed you for the destructive human being that you are, for the man who exposed you for what you really are when you try and kill this brand, and now all of a sudden you think that this crowd is just going to eat everything out of the palm of your hand, just take what you say, take it to the bank, cash it in and believe it to be the truth. Diamond Dallas Page, you are more of a fraud than I ever anticipated. And there you are. There it is. Seth Rollins says that the crowd, the people in the back, those up high, and even myself do not want to lay eyes upon this man. Diamond Dallas Page, the joke that he is, was laid to rest at WrestleMania. How Page is too stupid to be aware of that is beneath Seth Rollins. This man just never learns to shut up, does he? Continues to open his mouth time and time again. Paige, you can make all the claims you want about how you have a deserved rematch, about how you killed the NWO to get that championship. And yes, you did. But it was only after you killed them to fuel your own greed that everyone became aware of what a bullshit human being you are. And that's it. That is what you need, Paige. Just stay silent. To shut up for good. You are not the face, nor were you ever the face of this brand. The man in charge is Seth Rollins. The man who says what goes on around there in the locker room is Seth Rollins. And the man who will destroy you and everything you stand for at Heatwave is Seth Rollins. Now look at that now. Paige stands in the ring, unable to say anything like the stupid idiot that he is. He just stares at Seth Rollins, who goes back to the back now to get ready for his matchup with Chris Jericho. Diamond Dallas Page, truly and utterly destroyed by the ECW champion. If you can't win a war of words against Rollins, what makes you think you even stand a chance of winning an actual battle? Page, do us all a favor. Just give up. So that being said, and after Diamond Dallas Page was unable to keep his fat mouth shut for another week, And how he was, even when he called out Seth Rollins, how he was completely and utterly silenced by the man who will destroy the essence, the being, the name, the brand, the failure of Diamond Dallas Page. He still continues to open his mouth. He still continues to try and talk ill of the man who has helped to save this brand on more than one occasion. And a heat wave, he will save ECW once more when he rids the rat that is Diamond Dallas Page. When he finally gets rid of the disgraceful, disrespectful, ungrateful, egotistical prick that is Diamond Dallas Page. I say his name in full every time because I want you to listen to it time and time again. I want you to hear the name that will be destroyed a Heatwave. Because after Heatwave, no longer will the name Diamond Dallas Page be ushered. No longer will we say his name. Diamond Dallas Page will be a ghost tale following Heatwave. He will be one of those urban myths. He won't exist anymore. Diamond Dallas Page will lose in such a manner, in such an embarrassing fashion, a Heatwave, that he will retreat, he will recluse to the shadows, where he will never be seen or heard from again. And it will be this man who will be proud to do it. It will be this man who will take that opportunity, make it his own, and be the one to put the head on the stake, to show that he ended Diamond Dallas Page, to show that he is the leader, the architect, the ruler of ECW. I may be the general manager and I may get the final say, but if you dare say anything against this brand, you dare try and do anything that will not be beneficiary to ECW, you answer to Seth Rollins. Why? Because Seth Rollins, as hated as he may be by this crowd who is still unable to understand the good that Seth Rollins does for this brand week in and week out, day in and day out, he will dismantle those who speak against him in the locker room. If you are stupid enough to think that Rollins is leading some kind of facade, if you think he's leading a false narrative, and if you believe the words of Diamond Dallas Page, then clearly you do not belong on this brand. And that is what's happening here tonight. That is exactly what we're laying eyes on. Someone who fell for the false narrative of Diamond Dallas Page. Someone who believed the words of Page and took them literally. Chris Jericho was stupid enough to believe what Page had to say, and now tonight, Seth Rollins will make sure that that will not remain the case. Rollins will make sure that Jericho stands no longer, that Jericho listens to the ways of Rollins, listens to the right word around here. All that Diamond Dallas Page is a dictatorship and a revolution that will fail. Seth Rollins' ECW is a democracy. It is one for everyone. ECW under Rollins is a roster for all, not the roster of one. Diamond Dallas Page wants to kill ECW and turn it into his own vision, which files for bankruptcy by the end of 2017. Seth Rollins wants to save this brand, wants to make it the brand, and it's already become apparent. Even though these people boo him day in and day out, wherever he goes, even though they boo him at every house show, every live event, and every pay-per-view, the ratings speak for themselves. We've had the best rated pay-per-view since WrestleMania, we've had the best rated shows since WrestleMania. It is all due to Rollins and myself. We put our asses on the line to save this brand. And while we may not get our just deserves, while we may not get the reactions that we deserve rightfully, we know, and everyone else knows, they just are unable to admit that we are saving this brand. Because they wish it was that idiot, Diamond Dallas Page. But right now we focus back on the main event because I am sick of talking about Paige. I am sick of muttering that name now, and I just wish Heatwave came along so Seth Rollins could finish that off once and for all. Right now, Jericho trying to fight against Rollins. He's doing a bit of a good job. I'll give Jericho credit. You know, he is a veteran within this universe. He is a big name. He has proven that on multiple occasions, but Rollins is having his own way now. Super kick there. Jericho rolls out of the ring once more to try and catch his breath or to run away, because he knows how dominant Seth Rollins can be. He knows how scared he is of Seth Rollins. Had to use the outside to his advantage. Had to use whatever he can out here in order to enable some success. But Rollins is putting him in his place. Through the barricade they go. That is a man who will back down from no challenge. That is a man who does not care about his own well-being, just the well-being of ECW. Jericho launched through that barricade as if he were nothing. And now he crawls beneath Seth Rollins, who has completely dismantled Y2J in a matter of moments. Jericho still able to get up to his feet here. And look at that backbreaker now for Jericho. But Rollins is not done yet. Back in we go. But this matchup now will continue to go on. Look at that. A camel clutch there, stitched in on Jericho. He may be a veteran. He may have incredible ring awareness, but right now, everything he is trying is being bested by Chris Jericho, by Seth Rollins even. Rollins there with a not a nice, I don't know what I was trying to say there. I'm completely off the plot for a second. Elbow drop by Jericho there. Cover right after it on Rollins. Please don't let this be enough, Seth. That's a kick out at 2. Good refereeing for a change, as opposed to what we saw earlier in the night. I cannot believe we let that man in. I cannot believe we let that official be around to make a claim like that, to be stupid enough to let something like that take place. Powerbomb and a great bridge there by Jericho, but Rollins able to counter out of pretty much every single pinfall attempt that you can try for. Counter there once more by Rollins. Looking for that single underhook suplex, and Jericho bleeds. Jericho busted open from it. Now that is a beautiful sight to lay eyes on. That is what happens when you go against Rollins. You can bleed for your cause if you want to view it as that, but you are just being punished by the man who says what goes on around here. Walls of Jericho, almost nothing to Seth Rollins, who was able to get out of that almost as quickly as he was locked in it. Jericho now, though, retorting the simple strikes, because that's all he's able to try and get on Seth Rollins right now. That's all he's able to execute on the Architect. ECW Champion sends him into the turnbuckle. Jericho with the counter. And now, up on that second rope goes Y2J. Went for a huge senton splash and mistimed that one something awfully. Rollins now up high. Will it be? Will it be the incredible Phoenix Splash? Of course it will! Phoenix Splash. Cover right after it. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Oh yes. Didn't even need the curb stomp. Didn't even need the Architect Annihilation. Seth Rollins just too good once more. The best wrestler alive today. Rollins beats Paige in a war of words, and then goes on to beat Jericho with ease, to bust open Jericho, to leave his mark on those who go against democracy. Good job there, Rollins. Thank you, Rollins, is what everyone should be saying right now, not booing the man who has saved this roster on so many occasions, will save this roster once more at Heatwave, will save this brand at Heatwave, and will continue to make ECW the show to watch. He does it every single week. You know it's the truth, but you just cannot muster it up within you to proclaim that it is such, because you're all still blinded by the propaganda and the lies that Diamond Dallas Page has spewed out ever since he killed the NWO. If you want to believe that, keep going that way. But at Heatwave, Seth Rollins will make you believe and show you the right way to live in life. Democracy is the way, and Seth Rollins is the one who will lead you to such an outcome. That ends this episode, Universe. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, and ta-ra.